Toriato oya na I. Coming into center, Toro ota na I, and being present here, Chono ota kai. Being present within the consciousness of being, Chono ota na I Choshoya, where we are primarily happy and at ease, Jahono da I Choshoi, at rest, Dana Oya da Kai Choshoya. And the disturbance we start to feel here along the left side of the upper spine, Choro Otanaki, right around the shoulder, into the neck. This sense of difficulty with being alive, and where we can also feel this into the colon, the intestines here, the processing of difficulty, or the acute awareness of life being problematic, that I cannot arise and focus on well-being and all of the things I would like to accomplish. Instead, I arise and I feel dissuaded, and focusing on all of the things that could potentially get in the way of my being fulfilled. Taro oyana ki chashoya the kai chashoya the ki chanakoya. Jara oya the ki chashoya. So coming here through the left side of the belly, this atomic range, what starts to come through here is this expression of genocide, and yet the body immediately jumps to anxiety. Choro otana ki choshoya. And then, of course, the focus becomes about the anxiety. So a similar pattern that we have seen coming up lately, where the actual issue gets sidelined and then we end up focusing on the after effects of it as a way of feeling like we are trying to resolve this. So let's come back to this energy of genocide, and even what we want to call genocidal tendencies, which is the sense that we are actually trying to wipe ourselves out. There is this feeling that I do not deserve to be alive, and that there are others that are more deserving, others that are smarter, wiser, more compelling. It almost starts to feel like a small round disc or chip here, which also looks like it's dissolvable. As soon as we go to look at it, it disappears. It melts away, and it gives this false sense that we have addressed it. It's coming through as genocidal ideation. Okay, so coming in here, bringing our attention, bringing our light here to support the field where the child feels like it must destroy itself in order for the world around it to be happy, we can even relate this back to childhood itself, where the parents or the caregivers expressed, knowingly or unknowingly, dissatisfaction or disdain for the child, and where the child embodied this idea that they would be better off without me, that life would be better or easier if I did not exist. And the panic that ensues through the field as a result of this, through the left side of the field. So what's interesting about this is, if we look at it from a logical perspective, the child feels that in order for those around it to be happy, that it must destroy itself. And yet the child does not have the ability to do that. So it is trying to do something that is beyond its own control. And if we look at it from that perspective, trying to do something that is outside of our control means that it is not us who caused that issue to begin with. So reverting or returning responsibility for this, it's coming through as amnesia, back to the cage, the imprisonment. So the adult figures, the caregivers, recognizing that this is their sense of imprisonment that is being projected or passed on to the child, and where that almost feels impossible for that hierarchy or for these individuals or energies that are, let's say, above us to accept that or to understand that. Also, if that is not happening, how do we resolve this within ourselves? Removing this sense of embellishment from the front of the mind here, and the base of the brain, almost as if where something has been bestowed upon you, this sense from above or from these caregivers that you are supposed to save them, that you could be the savior. And this gets reinforced over and over when you do things that the parents are proud of or that the parents recognize. It reinforces this feeling that if you do things the right way, meaning according to what these other individuals want, then you are sufficient. But this is also self-sacrificial. So this is quite the web here to sort through within the being. So sacrificing the true self, killing off the true identity in order to resolve this hierarchical embellishment. We can almost say it's like an imprint into the field, or an implant, or like a stamping, where we feel obligated to conform to others' ideas of how we should be, which sounds very simplistic and understandable, and yet even if this is the root of it, it doesn't manifest through us in this way. It starts out, as we said at the beginning of this, as a sense of anxiety, as a sense of feeling like nothing we do is important enough or good enough. It feels like an internal battle or internal struggle, which is why it's so challenging to identify through the field. So coming back here to this propensity for anxiety within the self, and bringing in the true mother codes through the lilac tones, calming through these ranges through the field. this would have come through feminine energies that were also not connected to their own masculine range. Jara ona ki, where they did not feel they had the power or the control over their own lives. Sentience. Dara ono koya chashai. And where this starts to have a dizzying effect on the field, a bit like a helicopter taking off, the head feels like it's starting to spin, we start to feel ungrounded, we start to feel disconnected from ourselves. And yet also because we fear feeling connected to ourselves, or in many ways we don't even know what that feels like, we feel like we have nowhere to go. So reconnecting the divine within the self. Reconnecting to the divine within self. Reconnecting self to the divine as you are, as you should be. And should, not in a shaming sense, but should as in this is who you are, therefore this is how you should be connecting fully, as you are, as yourself. Tara o ono koya ta ki. Breathing in and allowing the light to penetrate here. Wherever you feel you are on your own. Knowing that there is a higher version of you, a higher power, a higher soul, allowing this to penetrate through the mind, sense of safety, well-being within your control, letting go of the dizziness, the vertigo, the sense of propulsion that encourages you to be outside of yourself, dissuading you from finding connection here within. Let us allow this to show us the way back home to ourselves. And so it is.